Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's ID Vixen and you're watching Vixen Reviews. So today I'm going to be reviewing / discussing the first episode of Stranger Things. So as many of us know, Stranger Things was released yesterday. Season 3 came out 4th of July 2019. So exciting. Everyone, we have been waiting for this to come out. I mean, every episode of Stranger Things has just been amazing. Like, when the Duffer Brothers started Stranger Things, they didn't think this was going to be as big as a hit as it was. Like, this series really just, it took off. It is amazing. It is so unique. There's just so many different aspects of it. So I'm going to discuss the first episode and review it. And my review really is, it's amazing. It's the perfect start to the series. But what I'm going to be talking about from this point on is considered spoilers. So if you have not watched the first episode of Stranger Things Season 3, please do not continue unless you don't care about spoilers. But you have been warned from this point, there will be spoilers. So it opens up with like a clip from June 28th, 1984, where we see the Russians in Hawkins National Laboratory. It seems that's where they are. And they're trying to open a gate to the Upside Down. The question is, why? Like, I mean, it seems they've been there for a while now, and they obviously know what the Upside Down is like what it releases onto people. Because, of course, we have the Flare, the giant monster that inhabited Will Byers in Season 2. And, of course, can't forget the Demogorgon was released in Season 1. So, it's just like, what are they doing? Are they trying to, I don't know, destroy America? Or is there something they want in the Upside Down to burn back to Russia? But anyway, we don't get to really understand much of what is going on. We just find out that they're there and they've been there for a while and they're trying to get through to the gate. So then it goes on to a year later and we get brought to a scene in Hopper's house where Elle and Mike are making out on Elle's bed. So obviously their relationship has started now, which was obviously a huge thing because we could see how Mike had really developed good feelings for Eleven in Season 1, and then Season 2 he spent most of it pining after her. Then they were reunited, then they had their dance with the snowball dance. So, you know, this has been developing for a while. So they finally started their relationship, like Max and Lucas. They too have a relationship, but that started in Season 2. So there seems to be like a lot of new relationships forming as the kids are getting older, which is definitely really interesting. I don't even think we can call them kids anymore. I'd say they're like teenagers at this stage. But of course, the other thing worth noting about the first episode of Season 3 is the importance of the Stark Horse Mall. So this is a new mall that's opened up in Hawkins and everyone's going there. It's the place to be. It's the coolest place. There's so many shops. There's a movie theater. It's super busy. Steve works there in Ahoy ice cream, as we all know from that wonderful trailer. But yeah, so that seems to be like the big thing. The other interesting thing is like we get to see that we get a glimpse into the life of Billy, as we all know him as Max's older stepbrother, who was a bit of a douche, actually quite a douche in Season 2. And he seems to be now like on top of the, I suppose, pecking order of the high school thing. I mean, he's a lifeguard now. Steve is working in an ice cream shop. He should have been gone to college. So it's really interesting to see where the older teenagers are. I suppose they're young adults now too. Like there's been a lot of changes we're seeing in Season 3 episode 1, and it's really interesting to see how everything has kind of like matured on, how they're moving about things. It's like a coming of age thing in a way. And it's just so interesting. So yeah, Steve Harrington, he's no longer the coolest guy he used to be. Now he's had the ways with the ladies, and now even that's just been erased. But the other thing that's really interesting about the first episode of Season 3, in my opinion, is Hopper and Joyce. It seems Hopper has grown like, I mean, it was always obvious to see, in my opinion, in the first two seasons how close Hopper and Joyce were, and that Hopper really did care for Joyce. But of course, as we all know, Joyce was dating Bob Newby. Bob Newby in season 2, who unfortunately died. Now, some of us probably did recognize Bob Newby as Samwise Gamgee, Lord of the Rings, of course. But yeah, so he was actually, him and Joyce were so cute together, and I was literally heartbroken when he died in season 2. But yeah, it seems Hopper wants to move on and kind of get with Joyce, but Joyce is obviously hesitant, so she still hasn't really gotten over Bob, and we do see that. But I think there's been things developing between Hopper and Joyce for the past 2 seasons. So to see this finally happen, maybe they will actually get together. And maybe Hopper can calm down because he is not happy about Elle and Mike. And it's kind of interesting because you see a more disrespectful side of Mike, and he doesn't seem to be too fond of Hopper. Now the question is this just a rebellious teenager phase, or is he still harboring anger towards Hopper for hiding Elle for a year in season 2 from him? So it really shows that he clearly has such a huge, deep attachment to Eleven, as does Hopper, obviously, because he now views her as his daughter, and I think she is his adopted daughter. So even though, like, season 1, you're not seeing a lot of action from all the monsters and the thrills that you usually get in Stranger Things, you see the more developments of all the relationships and the connections people are making. And I think that's really important, you know, you need it for the development of the story. Now, we do get a glimpse of, well, we get to hear a monster and all this weird stuff that's going on with rats, which I'm sure we're going to find out in the next episode, which is pretty exciting. The other noteworthy thing about episode 1 of season 3, Dustin comes home. So Dustin was away at science camp, and now he's, like, made a load of things. And he claims that he has a girlfriend now, and her name is Susie. And he's also made this device called Cerebro, so he can... Oh, is that an X-Men reference? That's like an X-Men reference. So he can communicate with, like, people from insane distances. So he met this girl, Susie, at camp, and apparently she's extremely attractive and extremely beautiful. But his friends are very doubtful of her existence. Like, poor Dustin, I mean, he is very underappreciated in my opinion. But it seems Will isn't too happy as well that, like, Mike is just spending all his time with Eleven. I mean, that's his best friend, and it's a common thing to see with this show is that, like, best friends are, like, the ties are getting strained because of girls, which is just, I suppose it's just the natural order of things. But yeah, so Dustin tries to communicate with Susie through Cerebro. I think it's called Cerebro. Off the top of my head, it sounded like they said Cerebro. And, but she isn't answering. Now, the only thing we really know is that she's extremely attractive, extremely smart, and she's Mormon. That's the only thing we know. But yeah, so Dustin doesn't get to communicate with her. However, his radio does pick up some Russian chatter. So we just kind of see a bit of facial reaction from that, but we don't get to see him kind of anything else in regards to that. And then of course the episode ends with Billy crashing on his way to his date with Karen Wheeler, Will's mom, which is kind of very weird, but you know, stuff happens. I mean, she feels like she's an underappreciated woman in her marriage, which isn't wrong. Her husband does seem very clueless to what's going on, but yeah, so Billy crashes his car and then he seems to be getting taken away by the monster. So it's kind of good to be like, to see what happens next in regards to that. And it's going to be, it's going to be amazing. I am so excited. I'm going to keep watching the episodes. I'm going to try release a review every day for each episode. Might do 2 today, who knows. But yeah, guys, thank you for listening to my review / recap of Stranger Things season 3 episode 1. So, point. It was a fantastic episode. interesting things. Like, you see the ties, the connections and stuff that are made, and that is really important for the development of the story. So really well paced. Really happy. I really enjoyed this episode. I mean, it is great to be back at Hawkins, seeing it all, you know. So yeah, definitely seriously happy, guys. Alright guys, thank you for watching. Please don't forget to smash the thumbs up button, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. Your support is appreciated. Alright guys, this is ID Vixen signing off.